Well, good morning. Day 117. This is what I'm looking at as I start out this morning. Kind of hard to judge exactly how thick the snow is. I'd guess it's about 4 inches most places. Yeah, something like that. But I don't know. There's something about the woods when you have the snow covering everything. And then the sky is starting to peek out and you actually get some sun highlighting on this. It's just glorious. I mean, it really is. It's just so beautiful. Yeah. Last night, it was kind of a desperate situation as I was, I'll just sort of pan around and show some other things here. Because I wanted to find a tent site that had no snow on it. And as there were three different bouts, shall we say, of snow yesterday. And so pretty much everything was covered. And I went down a side trail that supposedly had some campsites off of it. And I found, I don't know that it was a tent site, but it was underneath a tree enough so that there was very little snow on it. So I actually had a pretty comfortable night. Broke out some hand warmers. I bought a whole bunch of them. And so I was warm. But, I mean, packing up this morning, yeah, it was basically 3 hours from when I woke up and started moving until I got on the trail. Kind of an all-time record, even for me. But the other thing is, I have very little water. And the water sources up ahead are either very, very sketchy, i.e. like contaminated with chemicals, or there's a lake that I remember quite clearly from 4 years ago, but it's sort of like mud flats down to this reservoir. So we'll see. There's a campground there, but I don't know that the campground has any, I mean, they do have faucets, but they may be shut off. I don't know that they're winterized faucets. And I believe the camp is actually closed. This trail is a snowmobile trail, so there's some markers for this. And but I have no choice just to kind of march on, see what water I can get. Obviously, I can stop and melt snow if I need to, but this is very powdery snow, so there's not much water content in it. So I'd be using a lot of time and fuel and whatever just to get a mouthful of water. So moving on, enjoying the highlights though. Yeah. I've done something dunderhead. No mistake. And I'm not sure. Well, I know what. I just don't know where. What is, I somehow have managed to lose my Garmin InReach. I don't know where. Normally it is on the strap right next to my phone. It's very secure in there. When I pack up in the morning, I typically put both my phone and my InReach in my chest pack as I'm gathering things up, rather than immediately put them in the strap, because I'm manipulating the pack around and putting all sorts of things in it, and I don't want it to inadvertently fall out. I've done everything. I've looked in every pocket. I unrolled my unrolled my tent just to see that I didn't inadvertently like roll it up in the tent. I've rolled other things up, my eyeglasses, other things. Nope, not in there. So there's nothing to it other than to backtrack. I don't know, 4 or 5 miles maybe to where I camped. So I did notice at one point, I remember looking down at my chest pack and it was not fully zipped. And it may be when I first pulled out my camera in the morning, you know, moving stuff around, or maybe shortly thereafter, that I hadn't properly zipped it back and, you know, it fell out. Okay, going back. Bonus miles. Bonus. Well, I'm relatively snug in the tent. It's all, you know, sort of wet just because of the condensation and the amount of just ice crystals that got inside the tent one way or the other during the day, which then of course subsequently melted out during the day. I don't think I broke double digits on PCT miles today. Did 7.5 bonus miles going back to try to find the Garmin. Went all the way back to my tent site. Looked everywhere. Looked on the trail both ways. On the side trail down to the pipe spring. No joy. So very frustrating. I've gone through everything in my pack. I've opened up my food bags. I've turned my sleeping bag inside out. I've done everything. The only thing I can think of is that it was in my chest pack, and at some point I noticed that my chest pack was only halfway open, and I just zipped it shut, and it probably had fallen out and into the 4 inches of snow. I mean, I was looking for it both sides, both ways, back all the way to the camp and then back to where I first discovered that it was missing, but don't know what happened to the Garmin. So now the question is, how do I replace the Garmin? I was planning on just stopping at Callahan's Resort to resupply, but now I may have to go into first Ashland and then Medford, where there's an REI. Maybe I can might be able to get a replacement there. So frustrating day, not many miles. It's probably going to add one more day to this segment. Fortunately, I had resupplied pretty generously, so I'm not going to be splitting rations in order to get to Callahan's, I don't think. But yeah, very frustrating day.